welcome to the 30th episode of PauseCast. It is Thursday, the 23rd of February, 2017. Still crushing that date. I'm Jessica Alouette. I use she, her pronouns.
And I'm Mark Henna. I use he, him. Welcome.
Mark,
Yeah.
you played a video game.
I know, right? I played a lot of it.
You
also,
played a lot
I need
of
to get
a video game.
I need to get a stupid thought out of my head because when you said it's the 30th episode, I had a stupid, nerdy realization.
Okay.
30, if you add up the digits in base 10, it's the same number as the number of prime factors it has. Anyway, let's keep going.
That is such an absurd level of nerdy, I don't even know where
My
to
brain
begin.
just picked it up when you said 30th.
Wow.
Anyway.
Also, I just looked ahead really quick while we're on the topic of dates, just super quick. I looked ahead to the month of May. Do you know what falls on the first week of May? In terms of our recording day, I'll give you a hint. It's Star Wars Day.
Oh, is it a Thursday? Is it a Thursday on the 4th of May?
Yep, it is. We get to record our podcast on Star Wars Day. Hell yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I have played a video game. So
You played a video game so much.
I've mentioned a couple of times on here that I really enjoyed Just Cause 2, but I don't like paying too much for new games. So I've been waiting around. If Just Cause 3 goes on sale, I'll get it. And guess what went on sale?
Just Cause 3.
Yeah, so I picked it up, and I think I've played a lot of it. Let me actually check Steam how much, because it's too much. I have played 20 hours of Just Cause 3.
There's no such thing as too much video game, especially not when it's a Just Cause game. Come
Yeah,
on.
so I got it on Friday night, and then all of Saturday, because we've had a leak in the water main of my house, so we had to remove a tree and dig a huge trench, and it was my whole Saturday. So my whole Sunday, I decided, I'm home alone, my flatmate was away for the weekend, I am going to spend the whole day solid playing Just Cause 3, and I did. So I didn't do the whole 20 hours on that day, but I've played a lot of it, and I've been really enjoying it. For those of you who don't know, the Just Cause series is essentially, it is a game where the setting and plot is basically, it's a B action movie. So the whole thing
And what
is kind
is,
of
what
an
is
in-joke.
a B movie?
A B
I mean,
movie.
I know what B movie is. According to all known laws of aviation, there's no way a bee should be able to fly. But what is a B movie?
That, I will have you know, is by some idiot who thought they should do the calculations based on bees having fixed wings like a plane.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I actually went and looked it up one time because I'm a nerd. I was trying to track it down, and I tracked down the actual paper, and I thought, this is bullshit, because bees don't have fixed wings. What the hell is wrong with you? I don't have that link anymore, unfortunately, so I can't share it without looking it up again.
Mark!
Yeah?
B movie facts. What?
What?
You're giving me facts about B movie. The B movie animated by DreamWorks. This is...
What? No, I was...
Oh, you didn't fucking know about that?
I know that B movie is a thing, but I mean,
You're giving this is a
B-movie...
fact related to the first line that they have said. You've proven the entire movie is.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a quote from the
You've
movie. It
disproved
is
the
from well
central
before
thesis
that.
of the movie.
Oh, I
That's what
haven't
you've
seen it in a
done.
long time. You also
That's
know that,
probably
for
for the
example,
best.
bees can't talk, right?
Are you sure?
I'm pretty confident.
Okay, maybe you should try harder next time. You move on.
So anyway, a B movie is essentially, it's kind of over the top but low budget. Is that a good way of explaining it?
Yeah, that actually checks out.
Yeah. So Just Cause 3 and Just Cause 2, I haven't played Just Cause 1. It's over the top action, unrealistically over the top. Like, you're standing on top of planes while they're going, and you've got a magic grapple and a parachute that can go in and out and in and out and in and out.
And it's
infinite
very
times.
cheesy, right?
And it's very cheesy. And when I played Just Cause 2, I kind of didn't get it, so I just thought, oh, the writing in this is crap. But in Just Cause 3, I totally get it, and I'm just laughing the whole time. Just Cause 2 was a game about your magic grapple and its friend, the magic parachute. And Just Cause 3 is a game about a magic wingsuit and tying things together.
And also a magic parachute.
Yes, yeah. You keep the stuff from Just Cause 2, but the real cool stuff is your magic wingsuit and tying stuff together.
Thank goodness. That was it was one of the most popular mods for Just Cause 2, I believe, just the ability to tie things together.
The tethers existed in Just Cause 2, but they weren't as useful. In Just Cause 3, you can now retract the tethers to pull things together, and also they're much harder to break. In Just Cause 2, I remember I used a trainer, an external utility that did memory hacks in the game to make the tethers unbreakable. That was pretty fun.
Wasn't there also, there's multiple tethers that you can get in Just Cause 3, I'm pretty sure.
The trainer I used for Just Cause 2 did that, but by default in Just Cause 2 I think you've just got one tether. In Just Cause 3 you've got two, and you can upgrade it to more by doing challenges.
I remember one time I used a trainer for Just Cause 2 as well, but I did it for one specific reason, and it was to remove the HUD. I needed a trainer for that. I just wanted to fly around and take screenshots.
I don't know if they've got anything like that in Just Cause 3, but I have seen a loading screen that mentions something about...
Oh yeah, you can just turn it all off.
You can? Oh, brilliant. It's pretty minimal, isn't it, from what I remember? I haven't played it in a few days.
Yeah, it's super minimal in Just Cause 3.
Yeah. But
in Just Cause 2, it's a little bit more intrusive. But you can just turn it all off in Just Cause 3, which is really great.
Mm. But yeah, so the gist of the stories of each of these games is you are taking down a dictator. I don't know if Just Cause 4 will be set in America, but I live in hope. In Just Cause 3, they're open world, and they have very, very large maps. Very large.
Both games really have 1,000 square kilometers of map. It's kind of... did you find the scale intimidating when you first played Just Cause 2? Because, I don't think I did. I think I found it, really, really fascinating that I could go to a world that big, especially on a last-generation console game.
Honestly, I think I found it a bit freeing because I knew I wouldn't need to worry about anything like getting every collectible and going every place because I just couldn't. And also, it kind of let me feel comfortable in that I'm not going to use up this game because there's just too much stuff in the world. And it's not like I'm missing out on a whole bunch of unique stuff. The bases that you can destroy, essentially, are the main bits of content of the game. They've all got cool, destructible things like fuel tanks you can pull off the thing and they'll explode, and satellite dishes you can knock down and stuff. They're all built from similar parts, so you're doing similar things in different places with different layouts and stuff. So I don't feel like I'm missing out on some unique dungeon like I might in Skyrim or whatever if I go to a place. So I'm not worried about using it up, but I know it's still out there. So I actually really like that the Just Cause games have big maps. And it also gives you the freedom to do something like take a jet and still go in a straight line for quite a while. You're not going to go right from the edge of the map to the edge of the map.
Yeah, you could make yourself a coffee while you get that ready.
Yeah. You could stand on top of the jet, outside the jet, because while you do that, the jet has cruise control. So long as you don't fly into a mountain, you can go make yourself a drink and come back, and Rico will still be standing on top of the jet.
Thank goodness.
Yep, it's pretty awesome. And then you can jump off the jet and wingsuit down and smack your face in the ground, and you're actually fine. My favourite thing about Just Cause 2 was the realisation that you can pull your parachute after you hit the ground, so long as you do it before Rico says ow, and you won't get hurt. That was the best. So you just faceplant from skydiving, and then pull your parachute real quick, and it'd be fine. There'd be blood on the ground, and it'd still say ow afterwards, but you'd be fine. And now in Just Cause 3, I haven't fully tested this out, but I think that you cannot lose all your health from max health. You can't die from max health through being hit by something or hitting something. So if you run over, you're hit multiple times, it can happen. But if you wingsuit super fast and faceplant into the ground, that single hit won't kill you. If you fall off a cliff and then hit the ground again, maybe it will. But I'm pretty sure, I've only tried this from relatively low altitudes, but I'm going pretty fast. I'm pretty sure you could fly a helicopter up a kilometer, just jump out, nosedive to the ground, and you'd be sweet.
I can tell you that is false, completely and utterly. I'm sorry to disappoint.
All my testing the other day was just based on grapple and wingsuit, so okay.
Well, I mean, if you grapple into the ground as well,
that's the other thing. Yeah,
that's a thing.
Pull yourself towards the ground with a cable, and you're safe. Doesn't matter how fast you're
You
going.
just accelerate very quickly towards the ground, even quicker than you can fly most times, and you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Don't even worry about it.
Fine. So it's great, basically. And now that there's a wingsuit, so you can essentially fly around, it's a lot of fun. You can, like, fly through tunnels and stuff. I've mastered the art of... So one of the things you unlock for the wingsuit after you've done a bunch of challenges to unlock the gear mods is an air brake to slow down. And then if you're going slow enough when you use the air brake, you put the wingsuit away. Normally, you can't put it away unless you pull this parachute out. Before I had that, I mastered belly flopping onto moving objects by matching speed with them and slowly drifting down. I landed on top of a limousine that I was supposed to hijack like this, and I also landed inside a moving train and felt very cool. Although my first attempt of that thing with the train, I was flying slightly too fast. My foot hit something. I tumbled over in front of the train and got run over by the train. So it wasn't a 100% success rate, but it's pretty good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I also managed to... So, Just Cause is one of those games, we've mentioned it a bit before with like XCOM and stuff, where, yeah, it has a story, but the best thing is the stories you can tell just from the random stuff you've done. Like, I found a train, I put the bomb on it, and it was an unmanned train, it was a robotic train, blew it up, cool, it goes all over the tracks, way good, lots of destruction, it's what Just Cause is about. Then another train comes along and hits it, okay, cool, the same robotic train is now splayed everywhere, and oh look, there's a jet that the other train was transporting that's fallen onto the tracks. So I get in the jet, and I back it up so that the next train just barely misses it, thinking I can take off along the train tracks. Except then I fell through the world. And you know that sort of sickening vertigo feeling you get when you can fall through the world in a game and everything's like blue or water beneath you? I get like vertigo with that. So I was feeling kind of sick and disoriented. But I was in a jet. So before I hit the water at the bottom of the world, I managed to start flying. So I was flying under the world. And I started to wonder, is the Earth solid both ways? So I found a patch with no trees, and I flew out of a cliff and started flying around. I saved this plane from the underworld. It was quite cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So Just Cause 3 has been a lot of fun. It's a great sandbox game. My flatmate has owned it for a while but hasn't played much, but since I've started talking to him about it, he started to play it again. It's got leaderboards with your Steam friends. Unfortunately, I haven't seen a way to opt out of them, which I kind of wondered about. But anyway... every time you're doing something like, headshots in a row, headshots from a distance, longest time spent in wingsuit and stuff, it'll say you're doing this well relative to everyone else. You know, so-and-so has... For what I saw, the thing that really got me was Jess has spent 6.5 minutes in a row in the wingsuit. So I thought, okay. The next one down is like 2 minutes. And I didn't realize at first that you could use your grapple to stay in the wingsuit by accelerating yourself. So I was like flying up really high and wingsuiting down, getting a couple of minutes. Like, how did you get 6.5 minutes? Once I figured it out, I beat your record. I got 8.5 minutes. And then I was getting cocky, so I was trying to go through like tunnels and caves and stuff. So I clipped a wall. But then the next night, when my flatmate got back, I was talking to him and multitasking while also trying to get more of a record. I got up to 15.5 minutes, and then the bloody game crashed and it didn't save. And it takes 15.5 minutes to get 15.5 minutes in the wingsuit, so I haven't done it again.
Yeah, it's a significant investment if you actually want it to
be
at the top of the leaderboards.
It's literally time spent, so you have to spend time to get it. There's no shortcuts.
God, that game is good. I will beat that. I will beat that 8 minutes. It will not be a problem.
Oh, I mean, I've done 15 minutes. I know it's not a problem.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know, and I'll beat that too.
And then I'll beat whatever you do.
Okay. This is just going to go on forever, and we know this.
We'll have like 8 hours or something.
Jesus.
I'll write a bot that will get me in the air while I'm at work.
I mean...
I don't know if that's doable or not. Probably not.
Probably.
You know.
Will you get Valve Anti-Cheat banned? Maybe.
Well, I'm not playing multiplayer, so... I can just do it in offline mode.
That's true. I think.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Anyway, that's enough about what I've been playing. What have you been playing? Because you were really excited last week.
Yeah, I I said last week that I was not going to play Night in the Woods before kind of this show because I was like, oh, I'll wait until I can focus like a ton of time on it and it'll be great. I did not actually do that.
I'm shocked.
I played it last night. That game is so good. I cannot state properly how good this game is and how much I would recommend it after just an hour with this.
So, is this good because it's what you expected and you expect it to be great? Or it's slightly different to what you expected and that's even better? Or how does it match up with what you were expecting or hoping from this game?
I didn't really have a lot that I was expecting from the game, to be honest.
Okay, because I know you were excited about it as well.
Yeah, I'm excited, but I'm not sure what to expect because it's a narrative-focused game.
Okay, what were you hoping for and how does it compare with that then?
Good story, good writing, good characters, cute art. I got all of those things.
Right.
Like, it was really great. And to see, like, the tones that Night in the Woods is taking, with all of its dialogue and its characters and its world, to see the tone that it's taking, like come to life, to see all the great like animation, it's phenomenal to see this all come together, and I'm very excited to spend more time with it.
Awesome. Is that your plan for after the show?
Maybe.
I won't blame you.
There's some dinner to eat as well too.
Yeah, I should do that too. Anyway.
But I've been really enjoying that so far, and I can earnestly recommend it after spending an hour with that game.
That's really good. So you've only been able to spend an hour so far?
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
Any inkling as to how long the game is? Because like you said, it's a narrative-based game.
I believe it's roughly 8 hours.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Just based on some of the reviews I've been seeing.
Because it's an indie game, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's been developed over the past 3 years.
Right, and I think you told me it's quite a small team?
Yeah, it's 3 people who form the core team.
Nice. Pretty good.
So, one of my friends turned me onto the game a couple years ago.
And you've been waiting for it ever since?
Yeah, because it looked really cute and exciting.
Nice.
And I was really excited about it. And I've been following some of the devs on Twitter for a while and just seeing how, like, seeing their, like, political stances as, like, time has gone on, seeing them documenting the process of getting this game made, and it's a fascinating process to actually, like, be able to see in real time, especially from such a small team. And so over the past couple of years, I've been able to see kind of that, but I've still very much had no idea what was going into the game at the same time.
Right.
I'm very relieved to see that their political views have gone in. This game is very explicitly political.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
So as being indie probably makes it much easier for them to do that, eh? They don't need to worry about a publisher saying no because they want to say something.
In this case, they did have a publisher still.
Oh, okay.
The publisher is Finji. They're a very small, like, 2-person publisher output.
Okay.
Which is also really fascinating to me, that you have essentially a mom-and-pop game publisher. I very much like that idea. Because it means that you have people who can take care of the marketing side of games for you, while also maybe not getting in your way as much as a traditional kind of AAA publisher would do. But you essentially have someone who helps you with all the non-game stuff, which indie devs can be not great at. That's no fault of their own, though.
Yeah, no, totally.
So they're also publishing. I have to just quickly check.
Sure.
Wow, they've actually published a lot. They published Cannibalt.
Don't know that one.
It was an infinite runner kind of game.
Okay. Also, when I say I don't know a game, that's more a reflection on me than the game. So,
Desktop dungeons,
I think the only
panoramical.
time I know I've seen that is in when it was mentioned in that article you put me on today
Mm.
as one of the things that was influential for Into the Breach.
I do want to talk about that in a sec as well.
Yep.
Um, Overland is another one that Finji has kind of. Um, I don't know if it's in development. It's an XCOM style survival game though, and
Oh,
I've been meaning to try it out because I have that in early access.
actually,
But
that's
yeah,
one thing I liked about that. Seeing about that article you just mentioned, it said that Into the Breach will not come out in early access. I don't
yeah.
like early access, so I'm very happy about that.
Early access.
And when I say I don't like early access, I don't mean I don't think it should happen. I mean I don't enjoy participating in it.
Yeah, I no, I totally understand. Um, I'm I'm very much the same. I think at this point, there are very rare exceptions where I'll want to like actively look at buying something that is in early access, but other times I just kind of avoid it because the vast majority of early access games are also like shitty 3D Minecrafts.
Oh god, yes, the Minecraft clones. I mean, I effectively did do Minecraft early access, and that I don't regret. But
No,
Minecraft clones, oh my god.
Minecraft was really good.
Mm.
But there is
Also,
a
Overland looks
beauty in
really
the
good. I've just got the trailer running while I'm listening to you in the background.
the beauty of Minecraft like largely lies in its simplicity for me.
Yeah,
So when I see all these like really complex like hardcore survival games, yeah, I am actively repelled by that because they also add a lot of what I feel are unnecessary complications. Even Minecraft kind of started to throw me off once it
there's
added
a
hunger.
there's a lot of extra weird stuff. Well, weird's probably a bit harsh, but that's come into Minecraft since it initially went live. Like I've lost track, honestly, of the amounts of new enemies and stuff they've got.
Oh no, I didn't try to keep track.
Yeah,
Basically, like even at the end of the beta, it was like tapering off for me.
I think the
And
stuff they added around biomes and things like that, that was really cool. The options that mostly gave you new building materials and things, that was all sweet.
Mhm.
When it comes to Minecraft clones, I honestly feel like a lot of the time they are scope creep, like in the flesh.
Mhm.
Like the idea is, let's be like Minecraft, except let's also add in all these completely independent, unrelated ideas. That's
Yeah,
what they
and
often seem like to me. And I mean, that might be a mischaracterization. That's the impression I often get from them, and so I've tended to avoid them.
I mean we're just trying to like make a point here. Like the central thesis still holds true in that like yeah, it's like Minecraft, but we added all these other elements to make it more complicated. Like we added thirst and we added hunger and we did a whole bunch of shit to the Minecraft formula, and you can terraform all the things and collect all the things. Look, it's really good. Um, but I really like so much of that is just lost on me, and it's a shame. I
Yeah,
I wish that I could find it interesting, but I simply cannot, and that's
I think actually just thinking about this, I wonder if the early access and scope creep things, if they feed each other. Because I mean, being early access means you are adding new features, which is
yeah.
definitely going to add to my perception that there's
Hmm.
scope creep. Whereas when a game just comes out, it might be easier for it to feel like a more cohesive vision.
I think I've always like Minecraft aside,
Hmm.
I've had kind of the best early access experiences with games that are like, hey, this is 99%, like, this is 90% finished.
Hmm.
There are a few more things that we want to add, and there are, like, a few bugs to be found, but we want to get this, like, thoroughly tested.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
here's your opportunity to play this game a little early. You can try out our cool concept and, help us make this the best game it can be while we finish off these final features.
Starbound was a game that I played in early access, but I think that went well because although they did go through some quite big rebalancing stuff, the vision of the game was consistent and already set well before it came into early access, and it was more of a bug testing thing, I think, than a ask the community what to add to the game thing.
Yeah, and when you get into that latter stage there, it's like that's where we have the problem of scope creep.
Yeah.
And things just keep getting added and added and added, and the systems keep getting more and more complicated.
And it just means you can dilute the vision and end up with a game that doesn't feel entirely coherent with itself.
Exactly. And, like, that's not fun or good.
I've forgotten how we even got on this tangent now.
We went on a tangent about just...
That's right. I mentioned earlier that thing is Into the Breach isn't going to be early access.
Yeah. I
After
do
we
want to
mentioned
talk
the
about,
article.
like...
You want to... Yes, go ahead.
I want to talk about how, like, we've talked a little bit about early access being good, but not going the early access route is also, like, easily just as good. It does mean that you have to have some QA kind of involved, so it's a little bit more of an expensive process for a developer to do, and maybe that's why early access is so appealing for games with big ambitions.
Although if you've got early access, you're also going to need to be thinking about community management and stuff, which is a whole different kettle of fish.
It is a whole different kettle of fish. As a community manager, I can tell you that.
There you go.
It's going to be very, very different, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to end up with the same amount of Jira tickets. That's kind of it. At the end of the day, you're ending up with Jira tickets no matter what, whether it's like you publish the game proper and people report bugs, or people report bugs earlier. Same amount of Jira tickets. So there's that. I also want to talk about Into the Breach.
Yep.
You mentioned earlier an article. It's an article that was on waypoint.vice.com, talking about why subset games took like years to make.
4 years, I think.
Yeah. Years and years though, to make a game after FTL. And it talks about like a sophomore slump after FTL was like a huge
No, I read
success.
that, but remind me, as a non-American, sophomore, is that your second year at university?
Yeah, it is.
It's so confusing because we call that second year.
Yeah. You start off... The concept of the sophomore slump, though, is you start off real strong, you have a great first year, or like first anything, like first album, may also be kind of the context that comes up into first game, and then you have a struggle getting that second one ready, especially if you have something that's such like a huge success.
When FTL was quite a runaway success, I don't think they expected when they set out to make a game, because there's what, 2 people involved or something?
There are
right?
2 people who make up the core of Subset, I believe.
Right. I don't know if they do all of everything, but that they're like playing off each other for the design and development of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Here's a quote from that article, just about the development process, kind of both Subset as a company and like FTL and Into the Breach. According to Justin Ma, one of the lead developers at Subset, the biggest difference between the Subset games of 2012 and the Subset games of 2017 has to do less with the lessons learned from making FTL and more to do with understanding what it's like to run your own game studio, like figuring out the tax code and the logistics of running a beta with thousands of people participating. I mean, because effectively when FTL was made, they also did have an early access portion because they funded that game through Kickstarter.
Right, and they got like 4 times what they were asking for or something, right?
Something like that, yeah. I think it may have even been more. But they did have an early access period with that. And so it's to me, that's kind of interesting that they would choose not to go with that process. I think that does say something about said process. I really like the look of this game, though, and it seems like it's right up your alley
It
with
really does, right? It seems like a perfect game for me.
pixel art,
Yeah,
tactics. I don't know
and that it
how into
doesn't seem
mecha
to have
are
that.
you?
How what? Sorry.
How into mecha are you?
I spent a lot of time playing MechWarrior 2 as a kid,
Okay.
and MechWarrior 4 that I got later than that. They're games that, although I wouldn't describe myself as super into the idea in general, there's a lot of nostalgia there from that. MechWarrior 2 was probably one of the defining games of my childhood, just because I thought it was so cool and spent a lot of time playing it.
Yeah, this game's looking. It definitely looks like it's gonna be right up your alley. And
Oh, I know, I'm so looking forward to it.
this article is really really interesting. I'd recommend that, like anybody who's interested in kind of game dev as a process should go check this out. We'll have a link to that in the show notes where it's possible. Otherwise, it's on waypoint.vice.com.
I've noticed a couple of things in Just Cause 3, although it's a game I've really enjoyed, a couple of things that have bugged me. And they're just little things, but they come up a lot. One of them is that this game has a very long, unskippable title sequence that runs every time you start the game. I haven't timed it, but I honestly reckon it's like a minute long. And nothing's happening. It is a beach scene where the main character is relaxing on a beach with off over the ocean, something is blowing up. And he's
That's
just watching
actually
it.
the loading screen.
Except there is nothing to indicate loading to start with. It
Fair
eventually
enough.
does come up and say connecting to server, but there's no indication before that if it is or not. And you kind of wonder, like, can I skip this? Can I not? You can't, but you feel like you should be able to. And it's particularly frustrating when the game has just crashed and you've restarted it and you have to sit through this long ass screen.
It actually is. That is a way that they've masked the loading screen for that.
I'm not convinced they have, honestly, because
that's what it is, though, because they actually do all the 3D rendering behind the scenes of that.
do you not remember? So near the end of this, it pops up with a thing saying it's connected to the server, and then after the loading screen ends, it goes to a loading screen. So I'm not convinced they are actually loading anything in the background while they're doing the title sequence. They might be,
Maybe I'm remembering.
but I'm not. I'm not convinced they are because they do follow it up with a loading screen.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's annoying. And if it is a loading screen, cool. But like, just have a little like rotating thing in the corner so we can tell it's loading.
Yeah.
Well.
Well.
The other thing that I've noticed, and this isn't specific to Just Cause 3, it's just a thing I've noticed it in most recently. I've not been able to not notice it ever since my brother mentioned it to me, which is when games have a lot of NPC chatter using different voice actors saying the same lines. Like, you hear a lot of NPC chatter in Just Cause 3 when you're standing on top of a car that someone else is driving. Like, you can have rebels who are your allies get in a car and drive to your waypoint while you stand on top, which is really cool because then you can like look back and shoot the tires out of the cars chasing you and they blow up spectacularly. It's a lot of fun. And they'll talk while they're in there. And I mean, always there's going to be a limited number of lines. I can't really criticize that because you can't have infinite dialogue in a game. So they're going to repeat. But the thing that annoys me is when someone who you've never heard speaking before starts a line and you know exactly how every word's going to go. And I understand it would require more writing, but I just feel like it would be so much nicer if the different voice actors had different lines. You see it in other games too, like Skyrim with that famous I used to be an adventurer like you until I took an arrow to the knee line the guards say. And every different guard voice has the same line. Which kind of, I think, in that case, really now hammers it home that like every single guard has been hit in the knee with an arrow. But yeah, it's a small thing, but it's just started to bug me a bit that every person, although they have different voices, have the same history.
I mean, there's definitely going to be a reason that this was a choice that was made, and it may be like all of those scripts would have to go through like layers upon layers of bureaucracy because it's a AAA game environment. So
even so, I wish they'd done it.
I wish they had too. Again though, like that may have been enough to like put people off because that's time and money spent. The other point that could be made there is that games don't actually tend to have like super great sound design most of the time, even in the AAA space. There's not a lot of attention paid to it.
I don't know if this has much to do with sound design, really.
It is part of sound design because it's part of sound, just kind of in general, which is still underlooked in even a lot of AAA games. Like, I look back at some of the Assassin's Creed games, right? Big AAA games, a lot of money put into them. Just cannot get crowd sounds. Like, there are scenes with huge crowds at, like, the Boston Tea Party and stuff. You just cannot get the sound of an idle, like, a crowd, like, shouting angrily, apparently. Like, it's just missing. So there's this uneasy quietness to the scene that shouldn't be there because there's people there. They're angry. They're screaming. Like, and there's no sound.
Can you think of a game that's done that well? Because I guess it's hard when games, they're not going to add things like breathing sounds to everyone in the crowd. But when you've got 100 people, even if they're just breathing, you can hear noise. Do you know of a game that's done crowd sounds well? Because that strikes me as a thing that might be particularly interesting as a game development challenge, right?
It could be, yeah.
I feel like I remember seeing one that did it well recently, but I can't for the life of me remember what game it was. Yeah?
The first thing that comes up, like, the first thing that has come up in my mind when I think of crowd sounds is Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that game just
that only has crowd sounds, right? It doesn't have individual people just talking, does it? I think it does going from one to the other that I think would be quite difficult.
It does a little bit have those like individual sounds, but not a lot because it's like limited by the technology of the time.
Yeah.
But it still had like crowd sounds which scaled up. So as you had bigger crowds, like you could start to hear more and more crowd sound. The sound would become kind of distorted at a distance. Like you could just like hear this like hum of the crowd while you were zoomed right, like way the heck out. Like it was really, really shockingly careful attention to that sound. And it made it feel really, really like really, really good.
Cool.
That's just kind of as an example of stuff that can do crowd sounds. Like, games have been able to do this for a while, but there's not a lot of focus that's put into a lot of AAA games. Another example that I like to use in, like, I'm gonna do this again, Mark, I'm very sorry. Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor
I knew it was going to come up as soon as you said sound.
Yep, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor was another AAA game which did not have great sound design, which ruined the experience for me, where Mad Max, which was a game which was very much in the same kind of genre, it had effectively the same gameplay, that game was so much more enjoyable to me.
It had the same combat. I don't remember any cars in Shadow of Mordor.
I mean, that would make the walk to Mordor just, a lot shorter. Drive for a couple hours, dip right up to Mount Doom. Hey, ring gone. Movie over. Did not need to be that long.
I don't understand why they didn't just courier it anyway.
Or send a carrier pigeon. Go. Be free. Also, drop that ring in the mountain, please. You can do it. At that point, you have, orcs with just the best aim that you could get with arrows, just trying to shoot this bird down.
No, Pigeon, don't put the ring on. You must resist.
The Nazgul will come for you, Pigeon. Run.
It's like they arrive and they're like, where the fuck is it?
Hey,
it's not
wait.
Wait,
Gandalf. Gandalf looks at the pigeon. Fly, you fool.
Oh, God.
joke. I have to... Okay, Gandalf... The image of Gandalf was a pigeon is very good. I have to move on from this, otherwise I'm going to be thinking about it for the next 600 years. Mad Max had really, really great sound design, though, despite having, like, effectively the same combat as, like, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and a lot of the same kind of open-world pillars.
I mean, to be fair, it also had the same combat as the Batman Arkham games. But it's good combat.
Yeah, but the difference between, like, the Arkham games and Middle-earth was that everything in the Arkham games and felt like it had impact. It felt like it had, like, some crunch to it. It felt really, really good to hit things because it made good sounds. And then when you hit things in Shadow of Mordor, there's, like, no response. It's like... Yeah, except when you used a bow and arrow. That made cool sounds. I
don't know. I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I know.
I just didn't.
We've had this discussion that you did not notice it, but I also definitely noticed it, and as someone who does pay attention to sound in games, like, that sort of shit really grinds my gears. Mm-hmm. It makes it very hard to play certain games, because the sound is just missing. And so it doesn't fire in my brain, essentially, that, oh yes, this is good, you're making progress. Instead, it just feels like I'm kind of hitting my head against a wall. And that sucks. That's not what I, like, play games to do. I play games to, like, enjoy stories. I play games to have a bit of a power fantasy, to, like, let loose if I need to.
If you want the combat sounds in Shadow of Mordor to be satisfying, you should replace them all with the discovering secret sound from Legend of Zelda games.
How would that help?
It's the most satisfying sound.
I guess. I mean, I would also just like the sword to feel like it's, like, cutting into some meat. Give me some meat slashing sounds. Like, very, very exaggerated meat slashing sounds. Yeah, very upsetting to think about. Doom also cannot, like, love that sound design enough. Everything in that game feels very good to use. And, again, I think it's something that's very much kind of a missed opportunity in games. There's not a lot of games which pay as close attention as some of these examples that I'm using here to making everything sound satisfying, because when everything sounds satisfying, it feels satisfying to me. Am I making a good enough point?
Sorry, I'm nodding, but you can't see that. It's a bit of a silly thing to do on a podcast.
That doesn't convey well across an audio medium.
No, it doesn't really, does it? Should nod louder.
I need a sound effect for nodding.
Did that work? That was my headset bouncing back and forth.
Sure,
as I nodded
that
close
works.
to the mic.
I mean, it conveys something. It conveys perhaps you are a cartoon. You are an animated human being. Yeah. Anyway, this is the Jessica gets angry at bad sound hour. I did it again. God damn it. I will say though, it is no shock that, like, all of my favorite games have fucking standout sound design. Everything in them feels really, really good. Fuck.
I almost feel like I don't need to ask you what you're looking forward to playing.
Well, I mean, never hurts.
Because I know the answer. No, but I'll ask, but, like,
okay.
I'm confident I know the answer. What are you looking forward to playing?
Well, I can't hold myself back from it. I was trying to think of some, like, goofs to throw in here, but I can't. Nah, it's gonna be Night in the Woods. That is the number one thing I'm looking forward to spending more time with, especially if in that first hour I've played, like the social commentary, the commentary on like friendships, how it feels to be like disconnected from your friends for a couple years.
'Cause the idea is that someone has returned to their hometown after a few years in a different city, is it?
Yeah, the protagonist has returned from college after dropping out.
Right, right. Okay. You've
So
you've mentioned it to me a while back, but I couldn't remember exactly.
So it's like readjusting to living with their parents, seeing all their friends again, rebuilding, rekindling those friendships, trying to get reconnected. I'm really excited to explore more of that, and also of the like political themes that are laying around in this game.
Nice.
It feels really good.
And the sound design?
Sound design is actually really, really good in this as well. There's so much care put into every single like step, all the leaves, like garbage cans you can
Does
jump
it sound
on.
like meat cutting when you sword people?
There is no sorting people.
Wow.
You can't sword a person.
Game without sorting people. It must have guns everywhere.
I think there is a knife fight that you can get into once.
Okay.
There's like
Don't do that. Be good.
the McElroys say don't do a hit. I'm gonna play Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods is gonna be very good to me, I think.
Nice.
I'm not sure what else. I've had this kind of itch to play some like Grim Dawn or Torchlight or something as well this week, so I might give that a go.
Oh yeah?
Now, how about yourself? What are you looking forward to this week?
Well, I've got a new just mess around game now with Just Cause 3, so I'll surely be spending some time in that. I don't know if I'll progress very far in it because I'll probably just be messing around more. I've wondered if I might revisit Fire Emblem because I've got Awakening and I didn't finish it. I don't know though because it also would need to be something I dedicate time to get far enough. So I'm not sure if I'll end up doing that or not.
I mean, I've definitely done that in recent weeks. I haven't talked about it a lot, but it's been kind of a constant companion on the bus.
Yeah.
Because it gives me.
That's good. Yeah, actually, buses are great downtimes for that sort of thing. I used to read on the bus quite a lot, which was really nice.
Yeah, for me, it's I play an anime visual novel effectively.
Yeah. I think if I revisit it, I'd have to couple people up differently so I can get different content. But someone I follow on Twitter mentioned really enjoying I think it was Birthright, the not most recent but more recent Fire Emblem game.
It is the most recent still.
Oh, that's right.
Until
Heroes
my
is
birthday
different, right?
this year.
Is there another one due on your birthday?
Yeah, there's another Fire Emblem on the 3DS that's due on my birthday. I'm very excited about that.
But yeah, they said they've been enjoying it and were recommending it, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I should revisit Awakening. So I might do that. I'd have to get it back from my brother because he's been borrowing it, but I don't think he's been playing it lately.
I've heard good things about Heroes, and also like it's free.
What is it?
Yeah, it's just a free...
No. What is it?
Oh, okay. Fire Emblem Heroes is like it's like a normal Fire Emblem game essentially, but you pull your characters from a gachapon.
From a what?
You know those little capsule machines that you can find outside of grocery stores? They have little plastic toys in them.
No.
Shit, I forgot they're not really a thing here, are they? Fuck.
Sorry.
They're basically a gachapon is
it
a machine
Japanese.
It is.
Okay.
It's a machine that's loaded up with a variety of plastic capsules, which all contain like a small toy. And when you put a coin into the machine and give it a twist, it will give you a capsule. Just a random one from inside that's fallen to the bottom.
Okay. So it's a random toy vending machine.
Yep. And essentially, Fire Emblem Heroes operates on the same kind of mechanics.
Oh, so you have to put $1 in each time? Or
No, you don't have to put $1 in each time, thankfully, but you have to put in like a currency called orbs, which you earn by completing missions in the game.
And I'm guessing since it's a free game, you can buy them.
You can also buy them, yes.
Okay, right. That's where it comes from.
Yep.
Okay. Well, maybe I should check that out, because if it's free, it wouldn't take long to check out.
No, and it's a full and proper Fire Emblem game as well.
And it is like the normal tactics-based combat that they've got and stuff, is it?
Yep. I don't think you can miss or anything like that in there though, which is kind of an interesting choice.
I mean, that can be interesting actually if it takes some of the chance out of it. It can make it a little more skill-based.
Yeah, and you also have only teams of 4, so it's 4 versus 4 on pretty small maps.
Is it PvP?
No, it is
not.
Good.
Okay. Phew. Sorry.
You can play PvP, but it is not only PvP.
Good. Because, well, you know me.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's
Okay.
Nintendo. There's no other like human interaction besides playing the game.
And what's the platform?
It's on iOS and Android.
That means I'd have to take a whole lot of cat photos off my phone, which is unlikely to happen. Maybe.
You could put them onto your computer. That's the point of computers.
I could, but then I wouldn't have them in my pocket.
True. I mean,
Maybe
I can't argue with that.
My phone has been like full for about a year, and I've had to like go find something like cache data to delete so I can take more cat photos. So anyway, yeah.
Go revisit Awakening though. I've been really enjoying it, and if you ever think that you've missed out on like any of the hashtag content, I have the art book for Fire Emblem Awakening, and that has all of the support scripts in the back of it.
Oh, wow.
So if you ever wanted to read all of that, like every single support conversation is in there.
Wow, that's quite neat.
Yeah. I think there's like a handful of other stuff too, and obviously all the like super awesome art for the game.
Yeah. Feet included?
Feet included.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're practically unrecognizable.
I mean, Fire Emblem Fates has feet.
Wow. The technological advancement between those two games is just huge.
I mean, it was literally a tech thing. I swear we've talked about this as well.
Yeah, they didn't have enough bones or something.
Yeah, essentially. And, like, they weren't sure how much they could do on the 3DS, because it was 2012 that this game was released.
I don't know.
It was shortly after the 3DS launch. It's beside the point. Awakening is good. I've been replaying it. I would recommend it.
Nice.
Are you looking? Is that it? Did you do the?
Yeah, that's the only things I've really got a feeling for this week.
Okay.
Like I said, I'll probably spend more time in Just Cause 3 since it's my new mess around game.
Heck yeah. Cool. Well, thank you as always for listening to PauseCast. Super quick. All of our wrap-up stuff. You can find us basically everywhere on the internet. PauseCast Show. We're on Patreon. If you'd like to support us financially, we would very much appreciate it. Patreon.com/PauseCast Show. Twitter, PauseCast Show. Facebook, groups, PauseCast Show. iTunes, if you're listening to us there, could you please give us a rating or review? It helps us out a lot. And also, I found out a way that I can see all the international reviews. Which is really great. It means I can see the 1 5-star review that we've ever gotten that was in the United States. Thank you.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
We have a 5-star review on iTunes. Hell yeah. Again, though, a 5-star review. It's really good, though. Thank you for supporting the show in any way that you can. We really appreciate it. Mark, you're on the internet. Where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Honest Universe, and I blog as well, though not about video games, at honestuniverse.com.
You can find me online at CockatielCutie, and also on Tumblr at bird.school, where my content is indefensible as always. Shout out to Leon as well for our theme song. It is Honey Milk Island. It is off Leon's self-titled EP, which you can find on Apple Music. And you can also download the song for free on soundcloud.com/LEYAWN. That's going to do it for us this week on PauseCast. Thank you very much for listening. And
we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Cheers. I just wanted to mention real quick, since I didn't remember to during the show, we have a ton of games to give away. If you just email us, we have Moon Hunters. Email us a moon fact, a thing you like about the moon. We have Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen. Email us with your favorite dragon. Tell me about your favorite dragon, because I want to know. And we also have XCOM 2 available, just for someone who emails us. If you are interested in that game or the others, email us, let us know, pausecastshow@gmail.com.